And welcome, Tobs fans, to another edition of Tobs Talk here on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran with you. A mini road trip for the Tobs. They go 1-1, winning at Peninsula, losing at Fayetteville last night 4-3. But the Tobs, I tell you what, never say die. Both games featured ninth inning comebacks for the teams was down. They ended up beating Peninsula by 1 run, but then falling to Fayetteville last night 4-3 in a wild game. On this edition of Tobs Talk, we'll be speaking again with head coach Austin Love, get his thoughts on the first week. The Tobs 4-1. Again, a great start, way better than last year. We'll also talk with JT Brubaker, maybe the Coastal Plain League's pitcher of the week when that gets announced tomorrow, as he has been phenomenal. Picked up his first collegiate win, technically 7 innings pitched this week, allowing just 1 hit, 1 run, also recording 12 strikeouts. Matt Michael will join me later on in the show to preview today's game against Fuquay-Varina. It's Bark in the Park night at historic Fleming Stadium. A couple things to note. First pitch, 5 o'clock. Also, you can bring your furry friends to the game tonight and help them enjoy the game with you. It should be pretty good weather for them as well, but Fuquay-Varina comes in. The Twins, just their 3rd game of the season. It is an exhibition contest as well. Again, a great show lined up for you here on Tobs Talk. We'll be back with Coach Austin Love next. And welcome back to Tobs Talk. Riley Corcoran joined by head coach Austin Love. After the Tobs' first loss of the season last night, a heartbreaker to Fayetteville, losing 4-3, bottom of the 9th inning. Coach, we'll kind of start with that one and then go backwards with the 2-game road trip. But tough one last night. You had to like to see the fight in the guys. I mean, down 3-0 going into the 8th inning, score 1 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, and then kind of just a weird way to lose. What was your assessment, I guess, initially of that game?
Positive. Strictly positive. It's the kind of game early in the year you win or lose, it helps you better, helps you get better for later on in the season. So we've played some really close games that have, kind of built our character a little bit. We kind of know we're never out of one with our lineup and our roster. So it was very strange, with the injury to Micah and having to pull him out. I think if his finger's healthy the entire time in that 9th inning, we get out of that inning, we score 1 in the 10th and keep rolling.
And he was cruising. Micah had gone an inning and 2/3 and looked like we were going to the 10th, and all of a sudden a crazy situation in the game where he had an injury. It was a 3-0 count. You had to bring in Bobby Gazzola for his 4th consecutive night of work. I mean, you can't speak enough about what he would do for the team, and then he actually throws strike 1 before throwing ball 4. But what do you think was going through, I guess, Bobby's mind going to the mound? I know he's a guy that, you can put him in any situation, he'll be fine. That's probably the most unenviable position you can want in baseball, though.
With Bobby and the performance he's had before, it's pretty much been, just reach back and throw it. And that's really what I told him to do. I said, hey, split the plate. It's 3-0. Just, find your best fastball and throw it right down the middle and let it work. And he did get a strike in there, but it is a very, very tough situation. Good crowd last night for Fayetteville, so they're right on top of you. And they were shaking the bleachers and everything, so it was pretty fun.
It was shaking up in the press box as well. Very rowdy. 3,692 fans down in the swamp last night, what they like to call it. And offensively, kind of a down game. Obviously, through the course of 61, you're not going to score 8-13 every game as much as everyone would like to think that's going to happen. What do you think was maybe the difference? Tired after 5 games in a row, or the first 6 innings, there just wasn't much there offensively for the Tobs, but scoring 3 runs, what do you think was the difference offensively?
I think some things happened early in the game that kind of affected our approach, things that I'm not going to discuss. And I think our approach was off just a little bit, trying to do too much after some negative things, happened to us early in the game. But these guys, they know how to, refocus and battle back, and they always play hard.
And it's never say die with the Tobs. They lose to Fayetteville last night, but 2 nights ago against Peninsula, what a game. 4 lead changes in the final 4 innings. The Tobs end up scoring 2 in the 9th, and kind of a preview of what happened. It doesn't matter how many runs they're down, how many runs it seems to be when the chips are against them, so to speak. But let's go back to that Peninsula game just a bit. 5 errors we had to overcome to win that game. 9th inning, just a couple timely hits. What were your thoughts on that game and how we were able to come back and higher scoring, of course, 8-7 win against Peninsula?
That was one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of in my career as a coach. From a standpoint, all the right moves were made. The players, we're giving guys green light down by runs, and they're taking off and getting bags. Big hits. Just like last night, they never, ever feel like they're out of a game. Even with the 5 errors, overcoming that, they're a great group of guys to be around, and they're awesome.
And some guy that we're going to be talking to in the next segment, JT Brubaker, what a performance by him coming out of the bullpen. I know he's the opening night starter, and we're up there in the press box, and I saw number 20 come on the mound and think, well, he's a starter, but he came in relief. Just take me through the coach's perspective on why bring in Brubaker. I know it was kind of a bullpen day, but just explain that a little bit to our viewers on why JT came into the game and eventually picked up his first win, which we'll talk to him about in a second.
In that situation, we just needed innings. We have been short on staff, due to young men traveling from far away and regional competition. And many programs I've been a part of, we've done that in the past, where you have a starter who's just that good. You can bring him in for one inning of work. It's his 40 bullpen day. You bring him in. He throws 15, 16 pitches. It doesn't affect his arm or his progress for his next start. And he comes in. He lights it up. Even still with a little bit of nagging thing on his finger. And really that was huge for him to step up and take one for the team. Again, these guys, they put themselves out there for us and for their teammates more than anything. And it's just fun to be around. A
little bit extra juice behind Brubaker throwing 93 miles an hour, hitting that a couple times on the gun. Pretty cool to see. And now we'll switch gears a little bit to today. A little bit of a different situation. Fuquay Arena comes in for an exhibition game, one that was added pretty late to the schedule. It's Bark in the Park Day at historic Fleming Stadium. But let's go into the mindset today. I mean, exhibition, of course you want to win every game going into it, but what's the approach today going to this exhibition game?
The approach today is win as usual. But we'll probably play a few more guys today and, try to keep everybody fresh. It's our main goal. It's a long season, and the CPL schedule is the most important to us. So we're going to go out there and compete and at the same time try to keep legs fresh, keep everybody healthy, and go back to Fayetteville tomorrow.
And Ben Joseph from Yale will get the start on the mound for the Tobs. Again, 4-1, a great start, good first week of the season. We'll take on Fuquay Arena. We'll talk with JT Brubaker, the star pitcher for the Tobs this week, coming up next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. We are back, Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran pleased to be joined now by JT Brubaker. What a performance this week. 2 appearances, so 1 out of the bullpen, 1 starting. JT, it's been kind of a whirlwind, a little bit of everything, but let's go into opening night. The start there for you, I know it was a while back now, it seems, with just the 5 games that we played in 5 days, that so far ago, but talk about your emotions on opening night. A great performance, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, just 1 run, got a no decision in that game, but just speak a little bit about the performance and your mindset going into opening night.
I feel like my performance opening night was really good. Better coming off the end of school year. Went out there, threw strikes, got ahead, tried to get the guys out early, let my defense work a little bit.
And they did a good job of that and throwing in the low 90s, I would say, on opening night. And we're a little bit disappointed not getting the win. I know the team ended up getting the win, but kind of frustrating after just giving up 1 hit and whatnot, but you still felt good about your performance.
Yeah, getting the no decision. I mean, yeah, the team won. A little bummed that I didn't get the win, but it's whatever's for the team. I mean, we get the win. It's all good.
And again, another dominant performance and 10 strikeouts. That was corrected, so 10 strikeouts for JT in that opening night performance. Then all of a sudden, we just talked with Coach Love a little bit about it, but I want to get your perspective. Coming in out of the bullpen against Peninsula to throw an 8th inning, a scoreless 8th inning, 2 more strikeouts picked up. We talk about hitting 93 on the radar gun, and I know you got to love that, but what were you thinking when you were down in the bullpen? Well, okay, it's going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to come in and just kind of throw as hard as you can, or what was the mindset for you down in the bullpen, just getting ready to come into the ballgame?
I was just hoping I didn't come in the middle of an inning just so I could start a fresh inning and get the mindset of it's just basically like a start. Just go out there, throw like you're starting a game, 0-0.
And boy, if that's the case tomorrow night in a start against Fayetteville, I wouldn't want to face you in the first inning because, again, throwing 93 miles an hour, and you have to let our viewers in on this. You told me that you had never hit maybe more than 91 or 92 on the gun before. You didn't even know you hit 93 miles an hour twice, and we're talking about getting up in the 90s, even 1 mile an hour. That's a big deal. I mean, getting up there and eventually creeping it up. Did you even feel it on the mound, even worried about it whatsoever, that you were hitting in there at 93 miles an hour?
The ball was coming out. I mean, I could feel like I was getting up there, but I was trying so hard not to look at the gun. I didn't want to make it look obvious or anything, but I felt like I was throwing hard. And
you had to overcome something else, a blister on, I think it's your middle finger on your throwing hand. So tough to overcome, that developed on opening night. How tough is that to pitch with? I mean, it has to be very, very painful, but you starting to work through it more? Has it happened before in your career?
It's never happened before. I've never had a blister on my finger. I don't know if it was just adrenaline. I couldn't really feel it. All I felt was the flap of skin just hanging there, so just throwing with it.
And again, for you working this week, how has it been? Do you think you'll be okay to go tomorrow night? Are you worried about that at all in the back of your mind?
Nah, I'm not worried about it at all. Just going to go throw, do my thing.
All right, so JT Brubaker now 1-0. Hopefully will be the pitcher of the week when the CPL announces that tomorrow. And tomorrow, a big start for you at Fayetteville, your second start of the year, third appearance. But you saw what it was all about. You do a pretty good scouting report, I guess, when you were sitting in the dugout last night, or do you not really worry about that, or you take some things in the back of your mind? Big start again tomorrow at Fayetteville.
Just getting motivated, just sitting there watching the game, listening to the fans, the atmosphere. I was really wanting to go in last night just because of the situation, but I'm ready for Monday.
And again, JT Brubaker, a fun fact about you. We'll get into a fun fact about each player when we bring them on here on Tobs Talk, but 3 no-hitters in high school you threw. 1 your junior year, but 2 no-hitters your senior year. The most amazing part about it, I have not met too many people that have done this, back-to-back no-hitters in consecutive starts. What was that like? Take our viewers through that.
It was a thrill. Back-to-back, didn't have a clue really. It didn't hit me till the next day when everybody's congratulating me. But the second one on the back-to-back was the most important. It was against crosstown rival, Bell Fountain. Loved to throw it against them. So it was 2 errors away from a perfect game. But I'll take the no-hitter.
No walks, no hit by pitches whatsoever for JT Brubaker. And now with the Tobs, you moved to 1-0, your first collegiate victory. How did that feel? It had to be just a huge monkey off your back. It had to be, because you had a great year at Akron. It just didn't work out to end up picking up a victory, but you finally get it here, your first, I guess, your summer start and the relief appearance. Feel you get a big monkey off your back?
Yeah, I felt like there's a ton of weight off my shoulders. So it feels good to get the first one under my belt, and hopefully more come.
Well, hopefully one will come tomorrow for JT Brubaker. Again, stay tuned to our social media outlets as well as WilsonTobs.com. We'll announce it early on in the morning tomorrow if JT Brubaker is the CPL Pitcher of the Week. We'll be right back. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Welcome back to Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corkin joined now by Matt Micah. After a long road trip, it's nice to be home again, even though it's kind of a weird start with that 5 o'clock game with an early start against Fuquay Arena, an exhibition contest. But let's get the perspective, because we were up in the press box the last couple of nights seeing it. 2 totally different games. I know we say that from a night-to-night basis, but that game against Peninsula kind of featured it all. The Tobs were very sloppy error-wise. Then last night, the bats weren't there. Just finding a way to grind it out. Ridge Gonsolin with a huge hit. What did you see, Matt, I guess, from those last 2 games on that mini road trip?
Well, first of all, Fayetteville's crowd was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that was absolutely unbelievable. And the press box was shaking. You know, it was really a cool setup. The fans were right on top of the players. You know, as a former player, I love playing in those type of games. You know, you have the opponent team, the fans are just getting in your ear. It was just really, really cool to be a part of. But from the team aspect, Ridge Gonsolin is playing unbelievable. He's batting .450, 9 hits already, 5 RBIs. He is the anchor of that team right now. He's batting leadoff, and he's getting on base, making things happen for this ball club.
And it's pretty amazing when you see a roster with so many players on it. There's going to be shuffling all around. Ridge Gonsolin has started batting leadoff every single game for the Tobs. He also leads the CPL right now in runs scored, so finding a way to get on. And last night with 2 outs in the 9th inning, when all the chips were pushed against the Wilson Tobs, Ridge Gonsolin delivered a RBI double to the wall, showcasing his power too, Matt, because he can be as a contact guy. He's 5'7", so you may not expect it, but pretty impressive power too.
Oh, absolutely. As a pitcher, you hate that. You know, he always grinds out at bats, gets on base, and as a pitcher, that's very frustrating. And for the rest of the team, you feed off of that. You know, you buy into that. You know, he'll foul off a couple pitches, follow off a couple more pitches, and then he'll hit a bomb over the left fielder's head or right fielder's head like last night, and gets on double, and the team goes nuts.
And again, the team's perspective last night after the game, surprising to me, but it just shows you that they understand the process, because they, it wasn't the bus ride back where it was completely silent, nobody was talking. they understand that, they played pretty well. The pitching was not maybe up to par with what they've been expected, I guess, the last couple of games. But the performance last night from Julio Valdez and the start turned in by Christian Slaznik, the starting pitching side of things for the Tobs the last 2 games.
Yeah, it was very impressive. Obviously, Valdez struggled a little bit, but he kept the Tobs in the game.
He did.
Only 3 runs. He kept them in the game, had a chance to win, and that's what almost happened. They came back, they grinded out at bats, and they almost got the W.
And looking at the big picture of things, the Wilson Tobs now are tied with Fayetteville at the top of the standings. They're both 4-1 in the Eastern Division. And trust me, you may be thinking, well, why are we talking about the standings so early? This coaching staff, these players, they're focused into every single game, what they can do to try and get that lead in first place, make it so they're kind of invincible and no one else can touch them. But from what I saw, from what you've seen, I think it's going to be maybe between Fayetteville and Wilson. With what I saw last night, it seems like those 2 teams right now are a little bit better than everyone else in the East.
Absolutely. Those 2 teams are kind of the same on paper.
They are.
They have a little bit of power. They have a little bit of everything. A little bit of power, a little bit of speed, great fielding, and great hitting, timely hitting, and they can ring up hits and put up runs on the board. So it's going to be between those 2 for the race.
And it's something, too, that it's great to see if you're a baseball fan, a baseball purist, if you will. They don't mind moving runners over, playing the sacrifice bunt game. I know some teams, some players, some coaches aren't worried about that in summer ball. They just let them hit away. It does not matter. But both teams aren't afraid to just lay a sacrifice bunt down for the team. That's the reason why they're both sitting at 4-1 again. 3 meetings this week, Monday, Friday, and Saturday against the Fayetteville Swamp Dogs. So telling you what, the first half race could be decided here in the next week. Let's transition a bit to tonight's game. Very weird. Fuquay Arena, we don't know much about them. There's no roster out. There's no stats on the team. They just played 2 games so far. Not sure what to expect from the Carolina-Virginia League. As a player, when you have these exhibition games, a former player, I guess, what do you think? What are you thinking going into it? Well, yes, we still want to win, like Coach Lev was saying just a moment ago. But yet at the same time, you want to get some more players in the ballgame.
Oh, absolutely. As a former pitcher, you want a staff day. You want you go into the game as treat it as your bullpen and focus on making your pitches, hitting your target, and pitching to contact. You don't want to, obviously you want to, get your strikeouts and stuff like that, but you want to get your defense involved, and you definitely want to win the game. You play to win the game every single time. You don't want to get in a funk and stuff like that. Grind out at bats, and you treat it as a normal game, even though if it is an exhibition game.
So the Tobs, again, 4-1 on the season, playing Fuquay Arena today before taking on Fayetteville on the road on Monday. We're going to wrap up the show next. This is Tobs Talk on Green Line. Another show now in the books for Tobs Talk. You heard from Coach Love as well as JT Brubaker. Again, just another reminder, make sure to be tuned into our social media websites as well as WilsonTobs.com to see if Brubaker will be named the Coastal Plain League Pitcher of the Week. Expecting it with a win picked up, not giving up more than 1 run, only 1 hit allowed in 7 innings of work and 12 strikeouts. A very good candidate to say the least. Remember, tonight, Bark in the Park night at the Yard at historic Fleming Stadium, as the team will take on Fuquay Arena in an exhibition game. First pitch at 5 o'clock. So a couple things to remember. Hope to see you out at the ballpark, and we'll see you on Tobs Talk on Tuesday on Green Line.